evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Muskegon City Commission Meeting for August 13th, 2013. Before we begin the meeting, I'd like to call Mr. George Monroe, the Evanston Avenue Baptist Church, up to lead us in a brief prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Monroe.
Shall we pray? Our dear Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for this privilege, Lord, that we can meet here, Lord. We would pray for our mayor, our manager, and our commissioners, Lord, that you'd undertake for them at all times and protect them, Lord. And be with this meeting tonight. We'll give you all the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Can we have the roll call, please?
Mayor Golran,
Here.
Commissioner Hood,
Here.
Vice Mayor Spataro,
Here.
Commissioner German,
Here.
Commissioner Waringo, Commissioner Turnquist,
Here.
Commissioner Markowski. Absent.
Thank you. Could we have the consent agenda?
Approval of minutes, City Clerk. Summary request to approve minutes of the July 23rd City Commission meeting and the July 30th and 31st and August 5th Special Commission meetings. Staff recommendation, approval of the minutes. Concession contract for concession building at Pure Marquette Park, Public Works. Summary request. Staff is asking permission to enter into a one-year contractual agreement for 2014 with Morse and Ginger Michael of Moji Inc., DBA The Beach Cove, for operating a concession called The Beach Cove, the island concession at Pure Marquette Park. Staff recommendation, authorize DPW staff to enter into a one-year concession agreement with Morse and Ginger Michael of Moji Incorporated for a concession at the concession restroom lifeguard building at Pure Marquette Park for 2014. Letter of support to West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission Great Lakes Fisheries Trust Grant Application, Public Works. Summary request. Support the West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development's efforts to secure fisheries grants to construct approximately 800 feet of bike trail, fishing stations, and possibly a picnic shelter, depending on the dollars available, on the Hartshorn Peninsula's pier, and authorize the mayor to sign the letter of support. Staff recommendation, endorse Windsor-Dick's efforts and authorize the mayor to sign the letter of support. Farmers Market DMDC relocation site purchase agreement between the City of Muskegon and Downtown Muskegon Development Corporation, Planning and Economic Development. Summary request. The DMDC is developing a portion of their property downtown for the relocated City Farmers Market. When the property has been developed, the DMDC will transfer the land and improvements to the city for $1. The purchase agreement outlines the terms for this transfer, which is expected to occur in the spring of 2014. Staff recommendation, to approve the purchase agreement between the city and DMDC and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign all necessary documents, including closing documents at the time of sale. Second reading fireworks ordinance amendment, public safety. Summary request. It is requested the City Commission approve the ordinance amendment which provides for the regulation of ignition, discharge, and use of consumer fireworks as allowed under the Michigan Fireworks Safety Act. The ordinance specifically limits the days and hours consumer fireworks may be ignited, discharged, or used in the city. The ordinance prohibits the use of fireworks while under the influence of alcohol or drugs. The Public Safety Office wants to ensure no person shall recklessly endanger the life, health, safety, or well-being of any person by the ignition, discharge, or use of consumer fireworks. Staff recommendation to approve the ordinance as presented.
Thank you. Commissioners, you've heard the consent agenda. Are there any items you wish to have removed for further discussion? Commissioner Turnquist?
Item B, please.
That was B, as in the concession contract?
Excuse me, did you say B?
B.
B isn't, okay. I like item D also, I like that.
Okay. Any others? Entertain a motion, Vice Mayor.
Seeing none, I would move that we adopt the consent agenda as presented with the exceptions of items B, boy, and D, delta.
Second.
It has been moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Commissioner Hood, to approve the consent agenda minus items B as in boy and D as in, what was it you were saying? D as in
Delta.
Delta. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Mayor Golran.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
I would move that we authorize the DPW staff to enter into a one-year concession agreement with Morrison Ginger Michael of Moji Inc. for a concession at the concession/restroom lifeguard building at Pure Marquette Park for 2014.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Turnquist, seconded by Commissioner Waringo, to approve the one-year contractual agreement for 2014 with Morris Jinger Michael of Moji Incorporated for operating the concession called the Beach Club. Commissioner.
Yeah, it's something new to me. I just want to know what I'm voting on. If approved by commission staff, would negotiate an in-kind services/donation to Pure Marquette facilities with a 10% commission. 10% commission I've been familiar with. The donation I'm not.
And we have Mr. Alchatel. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. A couple of things, if I may, on that subject. One is we did receive a cancellation clause from the current owner or the current business operator of that area. So that's why, if you recall, a couple of months ago, we came before you and we asked for a 3-year contract with Mr. Houston, and now we've received a written notice of cancellation of that contract and asking permission to enter into a 1-year contract with the Michaels, if you will. What we thought about doing in that area, we have a lot of needs out there. The building itself might need some roofing. We have some sand leveling. We have some playground equipment out there. So what we thought, we could take this opportunity to ask for permission to allow us to discuss with the contractors, see how successful hopefully they are, and see if we can do some of those things that we need to do out there in lieu of receiving that lump sum figure, if you will.
I think it's a great idea. You'd probably put a price on what's being done against the 10%, so they're kind of equal, or?
Well, we're not going to say that in public while he's watching here. That's going to make it difficult to negotiate.
I didn't hear anything.
Yes, we have some figures and some things that we need to
Thank you.
vote on. Yes.
Any other questions? If not, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo?
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist?
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski?
Yes.
Mayor Gowron?
Yes.
Commissioner Hood?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. MD Commissioner?
Okay, motion for farmers market DMDC relocation site. Purchase agreement between the City of Muskegon and Downtown Muskegon Development Corporation.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner German, seconded by Vice Mayor Spataro, to approve the purchase agreement between the city and the DMDC for the relocation site of the farmers market. Commissioner German?
Okay. My question on this is, this motion has been approved and construction has undergone for the site at the farmers market relocation. With the $1 purchase, now I did vote against this, but I just want you to know that I am on a board, with this project. And I guess my question is, once we take ownership of this property, how will the city maintain this, and what cost will it be out of the city's pocket to help maintain this? And actually, if you have figures, how much would it cost to, the city to operate and maintain this?
Yeah, I don't think we can give you precise costs, but currently the farmers market and the flea market generate about somewhere around $70,000 a year, and we receive a net income after those revenues of probably somewhere around $10,000. So our costs are actually less than the revenues that we generate currently. With new market, and what those operations costs will be in the future is a bit unknown, but we expect actually that the maintenance costs will be less than what we currently are expending on the current farmers market, because as you know, that's an older facility and requires more maintenance. We're going to have a new facility that's going to require very limited maintenance initially. Over time, like any facility will require maintenance, but initially we don't anticipate that it will require nearly the maintenance that we currently have. Having said that, we do know that we're going to have some additional utility costs that we don't currently have because not all of the stalls at the current market have water and electricity. But some of that we anticipate to be offset, if not all of it, by the savings in maintenance at the facility. And you will recall that there's additional stalls there that we'll be able to rent and generate additional revenue, additional stalls beyond what we currently have.
Thank you.
I missed the income figure. Was that net 7,000?
No, right now, we generate about $70,000,
$70,000.
and I'm telling you off the top of my head, I think it's around $10,000 or $12,000 that we net.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Wieringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski,
Yes.
Mayor Gallron,
Yes.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. New business, item A, presentation of Veterans Memorial Park.
Summary request. Allow staff and the engineer to make a required public presentation on the proposed improvements to the Veterans Park. City of Muskegon, in cooperation with MDOT, the City of North Muskegon, Muskegon County, the Lions of Michigan, and local veterans groups, is undertaking the design and construction of improvements to the Veterans Memorial Causeway Park to improve barrier-free accessibility. Since the project is within a publicly owned park, public informational meetings are required by MDOT to be held to allow for public comment. Staff recommendation, allow the presentation and greet any and all comments offered by the public at the meeting.
Thank you. Before you begin, Mr. Alchatel, I just want to say good evening and welcome to County Commissioner Sabo. Thank you for coming in this evening, sir. Good evening. Mr. Alchatel.
Good evening. We need to bring this before you so we can solicit, or not solicit, but entertain and accept any comments from the public in order for us to meet the grant requirements by MDOT. Here with me tonight to do the introduction or the explanation about the project is Mr. Frank Bednarik from Hooker DeYoung, who is the project engineer, if you would, along with Bruce Colleen from Colleen Engineering doing the civil engineering, as well as I believe the Lions Club is represented here by Dr. Koppler, and the veteran group is represented by Mr. Loopy there. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Frank, if Mr. Bednarik, if that's okay with you, so they can give us a quick overview of the project.
Well, hi, Frank. How are you?
Hi.
Frank, if you could just read your name and address into the mic just for the records.
Yes, my name is Frank Bednarik. I'm with Hooker DeYoung Architects at 316 Morris Avenue, Muskegon. And we've been working for the past year with the Veterans Group and your engineering staff to develop a plan for the Veterans Park in alignment with a grant from the Michigan Department of Transportation. There are other funders in the project, including the Lions Club, the Community Foundation, and the City of Muskegon, and other folks that we have to satisfy some requirements with. The project looks simple on its surface, but it's not, because first of all, the entire park is in a floodplain, so the DNR has jurisdiction. MDOT is the funder, but there's access to the highway, so we are dealing with two different sections of MDOT. In addition, the river is a navigable channel, and the Army Corps has to approve the project. And then we have the cities of North Muskegon and the county ownership. And so it's
And
actually
I want to
turned
give my
out.
opinion, too.
Right. And then we have Consumers Energy that we're working with as well, because a big part of the project is to remove the existing street lighting, the old, 40s or 50s street lighting, and to replace it with the street lighting that is being used in the downtown. So it would be an entry to the city using the same design as what has been put into the downtown area, which is a large component. There isn't much architecture to this project. It is primarily engineering, and Bruce Colleen is working with us to do that. We've brought a rendering of the park as it will look. This is looking from the north. The main aspect of it is to relocate the monument into the park proper and to create a more safe area on the highway. And Bruce is here to talk you through the exact improvements that would be made on the park.
Hello, my name is Bruce Colleen with Colleen Engineering at 15172 Carriage Way, Spring Lake, Michigan. Frank understates the amount of architectural aspect of there. There is some good architectural components, and we'll get into those. But the key component was to try to make this park ADA and barrier-free, or ADA accessible and barrier-free. And so a good portion of that was improving or expanding the sidewalks over to the north side of the channel. And what we have here is we can get this one up for a second. You might recall the 5 flags that are at the north end now. We're going to use those as the focal point of a new ceremonial gathering place. Right now, the ceremonies are held way down at the south end, which is about a half mile away from the north end, and there really isn't a whole lot of barrier-free accessibility. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add a new parking lot on the north side of the channel and make everything barrier-free and accessible from there, and then relocate the ceremonial gathering place up to this area here. And one of the components of the project that MDOT is requiring is that we relocate those monuments up at the north end on the other side of the causeway turnaround. They're a safety hazard, apparently. So we're going to relocate those down to the south side of the stars, or where the 5 flags are. We're going to put a new American flag in the center, and just kind of flip-flap all of the monuments over to the south side. I think there's the World War II in Korean, and the Vietnam in Korean, and then the World War II monuments. And then the new parking lot will be, here's the channel, here's the north pond. We'll be accessing off the southbound M120. I can't remember how many parking lots. We've had to relocate that thing like two or three times to please the different reviewing agencies. And so, but we're going to have a nice barrier-free walkway, tree-lined, and street lights, or I guess it wouldn't be street lights, they're just going to be lighted at about every 100 feet along the pedestrian path. We'll have a couple of locations where we can sit down and view the pond with new benches. We'll go through a grove of birch clusters, and then we'll access the new ceremony. The other 4 parking lots that are on the south side will get improved and paved as well, and regraded so that they will be safely sloped and have some semblance of order, which they might not have yet. So the new ceremonial, you'll enter either from the north or south or east or west, however you want to look at this. This will be the stars, and we're going to have, or the flags, and we're going to have lights shining up from the surrounding ones up towards the American flag at about 12 feet up, so we don't have to worry about vandalism and that kind of issue. And then the top of the American flag will have a light shining down as well, so we'll be able to see this from a good distance, and I think it's tastefully done. This is the tall obelisk that's getting relocated from the north side, and the small one that's. This is the World War II one, and we're just going to incorporate those into the plan. This is all the big ceremonial area. These are all benches, and there's going to be quite a lot of space that they can hold their ceremonies now. And then these are all landscape beds. This is going to be like 2 different levels. The ceremonial area will be kind of high, and since we're in the floodplain, we had to minimize the amount of fill we could possibly have. So we're going to have a nice retaining wall. That'll be 4 foot high as you're looking from here. So this will be at a 4 foot lower elevation than up here. And this will have room for future engagements that we might endeavor into. And then this will be landscape beds and new trees. And then the Lions and the Fraternal Order of Police memorials that will also get relocated. So we think it's a pretty good project. I think we've almost pleased everybody. We are getting close on our permits. So, Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard you say about the lighting around the flag area. Now, would the other part of the park have, good lighting also?
Yeah, we're going to have lighting right off the side of the sidewalk throughout the entire park.
Okay.
At about 100-foot spacing is what it all came
That'll
down
look
to.
real nice.
Yeah, and all the parking lots will be lit.
Commissioner Markowski?
Is there any chance that you have any wonderful ideas to dissuade the geese from visiting?
We were just.
I do say that because frankly, unfortunately, it's quite an impediment to that park.
Yeah, I don't know what we could do about those. We were just commenting on that as we drove by there today. So, sorry. Unless you want to just hire someone to,
Round them up.
can't do what we do at home, that's probably illegal.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, sir.
That's kind of a DNR thing too, as far as just going out there with your 22. So far, we've talked mainly about north of the river, south of the river. I heard that there's going to be additional lighting. The parking lots will be regraded and shaped up a little bit better. But my curiosity, did I maybe miss it? The monuments, there's quite a number on the south side of the river as well. Are they being relocated as well, or are we just talking about the ones that are in that little triangle that you can't get to, where the obelisk and the World War II monument?
Just those. The only real item that we're doing is way down on the south end, and I can't remember the one that's got the cover over it. We're going to remove that enclosed area so that the monument, just because it just kind of showed up. So, but no other.
And then, if I could just, is there any work needed on the fountain right now?
No, and we're going to let these guys answer some of those questions too if we can.
Commissioner Markowski had a question.
Well, you mentioned there being a flag in the center of this space. Is
Yes.
that correct? Versus the American flag. The American flag currently is in the center of the main pond.
We've got the big one. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, is there any plan to update the base of that, which appears to be rather rusted?
It might be, but it's not part of this project.
Any other questions for this gentleman? Not additional information, Mr. Chairman?
I'm Dr. Dennis Cobbler. I live at 1045 Camelot in Laketon Township, but I had my entire professional career was in downtown Muskegon, so I consider myself definitely a Muskegon citizen. This all came about as a coalition between the Muskegon Northside Lions, the Vietnam Veterans Chapter, which Lupe Alvear is a member of both. I'm a member of both. We are Vietnam veterans. Dave Ealing from the Vet Center, and Lupe also is the Vets Advisory Board chairman. We looked at that park, and it's in terrible shape. We realize that either we do something now, or 2 years from now, there'll be no water there. There'll be nothing because the reeds will take over. I heard a lot of comments about what's going to happen. We have a lot of ideas that go far beyond this. We're building a coalition of a lot of very interested citizens, but right now we're running every donation that we have through the Muskegon County Foundation for the Vets Improvement Park project. The money that the foundation would normally charge for the pass-through and following the money trail, if you will, the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 31 and Muskegon Northside Lions put in enough money so that all the administrative costs will be borne by our two organizations. So anybody that makes a donation to the park, obviously they get the foundation donation, but they're guaranteed that 100%, every penny that they put in goes into the park. The fountain at the south end, our goal for that, it's an expensive thing to run, and the water does not stay in the basin. Our goal for that is to hopefully bring in a bunch of big boulders and have a cascading water going down over that. So that would eliminate a lot of the pumps that we'd have to use, and also a lot of the excess water in the park itself. The cannons, I don't think the citizens of Muskegon realize that they have two very, very rare cannons out there. I think Lupe did the research. They're 1906, and they may be the only two left in existence. So we're put out bids right now to have those refurbished and to lift them off the ground. And again, this is outside the project, but we want you to know that we're not in this for that little money or the money that we get from MDOT. This is going to be a long-term project. But we're going to lift those cannons off the ground because kids get on there and they're more apt to cause problems if they fall or hurt themselves. So we're going to redo the cannons. The flag, the big flag, that base is just about ready to go. So we've also sent out bids through, Dave Ealing is working on that right now. We've got bids on replacing that entire base and probably go with a pole that goes down into the ground without the base. The shoreline, that's been a sticky issue for a long time. The reeds have been just literally taking over that park. So we have been working, and we've had information from Weesey Brothers up in Montague. We had the Muskegon County Soil Conservation working with us for the restoration of the shoreline and the elimination of the cattails. Most people, if you drive by there 40 miles an hour, you don't know there's any water there because it's gone. Used to be when I'd come to work in the morning, there was water on the west side coming south. That's all gone. That's all reeds. And that's exactly what's going to happen to the park. So we're working with that. There's a lot of things we want to do that's going to cost money. Commissioner, you also talked about the geese. To me, that's the foulest part of that entire park, is having a goose crap all over our veterans' names, and that's disgusting. We have talked to people who run professional golf courses. There are trained dogs that won't kill the goose, but they'll chase it until the goose gets tired of staying there. And there's a possibility of eliminating them that way. So the other things we've talked about, and I don't know if that's legal or not, but the collection of the eggs. But our first thing would be go with the professional dog, trained dogs that will chase the geese until the geese get tired of staying there. So that's basically what we have in mind, but we are indeed trying to build a very large coalition of concerned community citizens that want to see that park the way it should be. Again, I've lived in Muskegon since 1969, but I still have the eye of an outsider. So when somebody from Muskegon tells me that's the most beautiful mile, I take an outsider's view and say, no, it isn't. But it could be. And I think that's all of us, the Lions, the vets, all of the other people, we're in this for the long run. And we're going to do whatever it takes. It's going to have to be a piece at a time, because not one of us have deep pockets enough to pay. We've heard estimates on removing those reeds up to $1.5 million. Now, if those reeds would have been done years and years and years ago, this problem wouldn't be here. But irregardless, to many of us who have served in the military, served in war zones, that is honored ground. And to us, it is important that the people who are on those brass plaques out there and the memorials under the trees, that they be honored in the true tradition the way it should be. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Mr. Elchtel?
Just a couple of comments. A lot of credit for this project goes to Mr. Lupe. I think he did an awesome job, and the drive that he had to secure this money or the funding from the state and the fundraisers is an awesome effort. So good job, and we're that much closer. The other thing is, just want to remind you that the street lights that are in existence right now will no longer be there. So instead of coming before you with a different action, if you will, requesting the permission, you realize that by accepting this project, you are authorizing, if you so choose, to remove those street lights within the city of Muskegon part at least. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public? Sir, if you would please come forward, name and address, and please give your statement.
Thank you. My name is Tom Thompson. I'm a resident of Footland Township, 5564 South Shore Drive. I grew up in Muskegon and I'm back here in retirement. I'd just like to make a couple of comments. I think some of them reinforce what the gentleman just said. It's a special place, and we all want to see it taken care of and represent what it should to veterans and so forth. But one of the things that I've noticed in the last 10 years is sort of a negative. I'm talking about when you're driving by, not walking through the park. You used to be able to see the center island, the cannons, and the bridges. Now, if you're out of towner, you don't even realize they're there, kind of thing, for stopping for that part of that park. I'm a water guy. The reeds, it's a problem that will probably be a constant. If you don't have Phragmites in there yet, though, you're lucky, because that's very invasive kind of thing. And the other thing I've noticed, too, securing the, too close or too far?
Too close.
Too close.
That good? Okay. Is the fact that when you're driving and to see that center island where the cannons are and so forth and the bridges, there's been a lot of decorative trees planted. Now, I know they probably are representing certain, kind of things and so forth. They're the kind of trees I don't think they're going to get big and trim, and those sort of cut out the view a little bit too. I just think to be able to see a little bit the interior more as you're driving by would be something to try to preserve or get back if we can. Yes, thank you for my comments.
Thank you. Commissioner.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, my name is Terry Sable, County Commissioner, and I stand in support of this project as a member of the Veterans Advisory Board, as a member of the VFW Auxiliary in North Muskegon, the American Legion, as a veteran myself, obviously, and also a Northside Lions Club member. There are a lot of people that are anxious to get this project going. Everybody is chomping at the bit, and I know Mr. Bednarik had mentioned earlier that there's so many players involved in this through so many different organizations. There's a lot of red tape to get through, and it sounds as though we have arrived at that time where we can actually proceed. And again, I wanted to stand up in support of this project, and I hope that we can see it through and get it started. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And speaking of commissioners, I caught a sight of one of Muskegon area's finest, Commissioner Rilstein Wilkins. Good evening, Rilstein. Good to see you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Rilstein.
I just came out in support of the veterans because I came here 50, 60 years ago, and I remember the park way back then, and I went by on Saturday and I looked at it, and it does need a lot of improvement, so I stand in support of the veterans. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment on this issue? Vice Mayor?
Just a question, this was on the agenda as a presentation. Are we being asked to take action on this item, and if so, do we need to take action tonight?
No, you're not. You've actually taken action some time ago for our portion of the match.
Okay, so this is the follow-up to that. Okay, I remember, okay.
An update, kind of, yeah.
Well, certainly I support this, and I'm sure everybody up here does as well, so I'm glad to see it moving along.
Good stuff. Commissioner?
I just would like to publicly thank these wonderful people for doing it, because I've lived here for 100 years, more or less, and I've known the park forever, and it's a wonderful project, and I think it's amazing that you've gotten all these groups together. You are to be congratulated.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I've only lived here a little under 100 years, and Sue used to pick me up and let me play on the cannons.
Don't believe that.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody that's who
Wonderful.
is involved. We hope to see this proceed and truly see it restored to Michigan's most beautiful mile. Thank you very much. Thank you. Item B, please, under new business.
Designation of voting delegates for the Michigan Municipal League Annual Business Meeting. City Clerk. Summary request to designate by action of the commission one of our officials who will be in attendance at the convention as an official representative to cast a vote in the municipality at the annual meeting, and if possible, to designate one other official to serve as alternate. Staff recommendation, approval.
Vice Mayor?
I'd make a motion, but do we know if anybody's going to go?
I believe there are two people who are interested, Kathy Brubaker Clark and Mohammed El Shatel.
So we could make
I don't
them-
know if, I'm not quite sure, but I believe so.
Well, I would move that we designate Kathy Brubaker Clark as our delegate and Mohammed Al Shatel as our alternate for the convention.
Second?
It's been moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Commissioner Wieringo, to designate Kathy Brubaker Clark as our voting delegate to the MML convention and designate Mohammed El Shatel as the alternate. Any discussion? Not? Vote, please.
Commissioner Turnquist?
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski?
Yes.
Mayor Gowron?
Yes?
Commissioner Hood?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Wieringo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Is there any other business from the commissioners? Not, we'll move on to public comment. Ms. Amanda Watson? Good evening, Ms. Watson. And you know the drill? Name, address,
I think
and
so.
you got 3 minutes.
My name is Amanda Watson, and my address is 2574 East River Road in Twin Lake, Michigan. I'm here on behalf of the West Michigan United Labor, and we would just like to inform you that we are having our annual Labor Day Parade on September 2nd, and we'd like to invite you all in the community to come out for this great day. We will have kid games, music, and food catered by Mayberry's Catering. So with that, if you guys know of anyone that would like to be in the parade, please contact me. You can find me at the United Way, so I'm easy to find. Other than that, I just wanted to inform you guys that we are having our annual Labor Day Parade down there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Excuse me, where's it going to be?
That'd be great if I told you that. It's going to be, it's downtown Muskegon. It starts at the United Way building. It goes down to 4th Street, to Western, to the Heritage Landing. And that's the route of the parade. So, any other questions?
So clear the 4th to Western.
Did I get that right, 4th?
Yep.
Okay.
I would just like to go on record that I plan on marching, so I hope we have a strong delegation of city commissioners to join me.
All right.
I'll be there too.
All right.
Typically am.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Watson.
September 2nd.
Labor Day. Are there any other members of the public that would like to address the commission? If not, Commissioner Hood?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition, same sign? Well,
After last night, keep quiet.
let's go.
What did he say?
I said after last night
Lot better than
was
last
lot.
Oh, my God.
Opposed.
Long last night.